Hi guys, welcome back to the channel Relationship and Marriage. And this is the channel we bring to you the realities in families, in marriages, in relationships. Actually, let me call it in general, we talk about family and the lifestyle, and that is what we are here to do. And first, before I begin to tell you what this video is all about, I want to really thank you for those who have subscribed to our channel. For the returning subscribers, I salute you. I thank you so much. And for those who have not yet subscribed, I ask you, please go and hit that subscription button. It is free of charge. Like the video and also comment down below. And today, I want to talk about a topic that has really affected very many people in our society. A topic that has affected so many women and men in our African society. And before I say what topic I'm talking about, I want to first go back to some years when our mothers were young, those old days. And in those old days, it was believed that in the African family, the man is the head of the family. And I think it is the same even up to today, that the man is the head of the family. But those days, they believed that a woman is like a child. And therefore, when you do a mistake, you are supposed to be beaten. You are supposed to be rectified through violence, through being beaten. And that was the order of the day, and those women accepted that as the norm, as the day-to-day activity. Even when they could be beaten, they could not complain, and they could not even report to anyone, because it's like those African traditions agreed on that, on wife beating and rectifying the wife through beating. And therefore, some communities, even up to today, and actually some men, even up to today, believe that that is the case. The other thing is that people believed that a woman should be a slave. A slave in the perspective that you are supposed to go and toil for the family, put food on the table, look after the children, go and till the land, go and look for firewood, go and do all those activities and come and serve the king of the house, who is the man. And that was the norm, and it was agreed that. And people believed in that, and no one could complain about it. Even those women could not complain. Even when they were beaten, they could not complain. And these women, remember, they came into those marriages, like my mother usually tell me, that for her to get married, she was to be forced. She was got from the river bank, and she was forced to go to my father's house. And once she entered his house and spent the night there, you became a wife. There was no question about it. Once you spend a night in a man's house, you automatically became the wife to that man. What am I driving at? I want to talk about domestic violence. And it is very common in Africa. A case in mind that happened the other day. There is this lady who was married to a Maasai man. And this guy was not working. This lady was the one who was doing everything. And I think even in the Maasai community, they still carry on with these traditions of the wife is the one who should look for food, should look after the children, should do everything. And therefore, this guy married a woman who was not from the Maasai. I think she was a Kikuyu. Yeah, she was a Kikuyu. And therefore, this woman is the one who was doing completely everything. Go to work, hustle, bring food, cook for the children, do everything in the house. And she had accepted, and they were living together. But one night, I don't know what happened to this Maasai, but I think according to the neighbors, they could say they were in good relationship, meaning that this lady was submissive, and therefore she was not what? Disobeying this man or doing anything bad to warrant beating. But one day, this Maasai guy, according to the daughter of this lady, they came home, they cooked as usual, and they went to sleep. But during the night, the daughter to this lady was saying that the father came to their bedroom and forced the girl to wake up. And she told her, do not scream because I have already killed your mother. And if you scream, I'm going to kill you too. And therefore the girl pleaded with the father, and therefore she could not scream, she could not shout, she just kept quiet for her life. And this man forced this girl to go and see the dead mother. And the dead mother had been slit the throat. This Maasai guy had slit the throat of this mother, and she was dead, and she was tied a scarf. I don't know why he was doing so. And this girl saw that horrible sight of the dead mother. And she was saying, this is a story that happened just the other day. She was saying that after that, she went to the sitting room together with the other siblings, and they sat down. And she could not even scream, she could not do anything because she was fearing the father can also kill her. And therefore she started writing messages to the caretaker of that plot so that they can come and rescue them. And the caretaker, when she saw the messages, she didn't respond. And she stayed there in that house, that girl, until dawn, when the police came to take hold of this guy and to take the mother to the mortuary. What am I driving at? Domestic violence is a lot in Africa. There are so many cases, I cannot even be able to tell you all of them. And there is a lot of killings in the name of submissiveness to the wife. In other words, wives are told, or other women are told to be submissive, and therefore even when you are beaten, you still go back to that home and you still start practicing like the good wife. And therefore, you get hurt again, and you still stick to that house. And according to some traditions, women fear to come out of the marriages because the church will blame them, the society is against it, and they also feel, how will I face the society, how will I face the church people, how will I face the neighbors, and so on. And they stay in violent, what can I say, in violent marriages where there is violence, and they are beaten and they have nowhere to go. The case I have in mind is about Mayuguno's mother. Mayuguno shot a video telling us that the dad took a panga and cut the mother on the head and on the hand. And Mayuguno was called when the mother was unconscious. And actually he was saying he sent money to take the mother to the hospital because he found that by the time he arrives at home, the mother would have bled too much. And therefore he sent the money, and the mom was taken to the hospital, where he went also to meet the mom, and he found that the mom could not talk. It is very, very sad when such a thing happens. And the reason why I have decided to shoot this video is because of the advice Mayuguno was getting from people. It's quite sad for a man because there is no one who just have a reflex action on cutting somebody on the head and on the hand. This is something this guy has planned, has thought about it, and has seen it good to do it. And Mayuguno was saying the father was giving an excuse that he got angry beyond control, and that is why he cut the mother. I don't understand how you can get annoyed to an extent of trying to commit murder. Because actually, this mom would have died of injuries on the head, overbreeding. And therefore, it was quite sad because Mayuguno, by the time he was shooting the video, he was very, very sad. And he also said that he threatened the father, and the father ran away from home. But there is these guys who are telling him, after your mom gets healed, she can go back to your home and they reconcile. Let me tell you, once someone has taken a panga and has tried to kill you, I'm not saying it's impossible to change, but it is hard. It is quite hard to change. And therefore, this guy The second time he tries to do it again, this woman will not survive. And therefore, no one should tell this lady to go back. Let her recuperate, get healed, and let mayuguno take care of the mother, and let mayuguno look for something that the mother can do to sustain herself. Because according to mayuguno, the father was assisted to keep a business which he could not manage well, and therefore it went bankrupt. While the mother was assisted to keep a business that is running even by the time they had a quarrel, according to mayuguno, it is the father who made this business again to go bankrupt. In other words, this is a guy who cannot work on his own. He's reckless. When the business is kept, he cannot manage it, and it goes bankrupt. And this guy knows that this lady can maintain the business and support him. And the other thing that I listened to mayuguno saying, he said that the dad has an outgrower, a child from outside, whom the mother is taking care of. Imagine you are taking care of a child to this man, and he takes a panga, and he has no mercy, he has no remorse, he has no regret, and start cutting you. So this guy will come to plead with this lady to go back because he's desperate. He does not know where to start life. He does not know how to do life alone. And therefore he will look for this lady so that this is the breadwinner to the family, and therefore he would want this lady to stay with him so that she can provide for them together with this child that he has brought from outside. And therefore my advice is that lady, mayuguno's mother, should not go back to that guy. And I don't have any bad blood with the dad, but I have seen so many cases, because I deal with so many cases of domestic violence in this channel. My channel is about relationship and marriage. And I've seen people, like there is this lady just very near where I am. She could be beaten, and she goes to her parents' house and stays there, and then she comes back. And this guy could keep on telling her, I will kill you one day. And this lady could see as if it's a joke. And the beating continued until one day, this guy just took a panga and killed the lady. So I don't understand why someone can advise a lady who has been cut with a panga, deep cuts, because according to mayuguno, she had stitches on the head. And then you advise this lady to go back. It's like you are going back to death, to a death sentence. And not even that. The trimmer. Will this woman be comfortable living with a man who tried to kill her? Will she be comfortable and sleep, sleep without worry with a guy who had tried to kill her? It is very, very important to reason before we give advice. Because sometimes when you give advice and something bad happens, you will regret. And therefore my advice is that this lady should just look for something to do, separate herself from this man, and learn her life alone. Actually, you might tell me, does the Bible allow separation or divorce? In case of life-threatening situations, I don't think even God can condone that. God is a God of peace. Actually, the Bible says he's the Princess of Peace. And therefore, having that in mind, it is very, very important to seek peace and pursue it, like we are told in the Bible. Just separate yourself from people who are violent, who can be a danger to your life. And it is good to know that you can do it on your own. To those ladies that are there in a violent situation, because I know I'm talking to so many people, if you're there in a violent relationship, I think there is a video in my channel, you can look at it, whereby there is this lady who is an orphan, and the husband married her when she was very young, and she got twins. And according to her, in the community of the husband, when you get twins, it's a bad omen. And therefore she was mistreated, she was beaten by the husband, and she could not take it anymore. And she ran away Remember that she's an orphan, she has nowhere to go, but she went to seek refuge to a friend. And later she was able to rent her own house and hustle for her 2 children, and they are now growing up, though not so comfortable, but at least out of a violent home. Because even bringing up children in a home that is full of violence, it's not healthy for the children. It's good for the children to experience a peaceful atmosphere, whereby they will grow up without fearing, without complexes, because of what they have faced in life. So that is my advice about domestic violence. And it is also important, I say at this juncture, that it is good to look at the red flags. When you are dating someone, look at the red flags. It's not just women who suffer from domestic violence. Even men suffer from women who are violent. And therefore, when you are courting someone, it's good to look out for the red flags, and do not proceed with a relationship whereby this guy is even violent even before you enter his house. He is abusing you, he's shaming you in front of people, he's doing all sorts of things, and you go ahead with the relationship and you marry him, or this woman is showing you a lot of abusing you, violence, and yet you go ahead and marry her. It is very, very important to look out for the red flags and run away from anybody who is violent. This life is too short to live in a situation whereby you are scared, you don't know about your tomorrow, you are not sure about the person you are with in the house, you don't know what he can decide or she can decide the next minute. So it's good to seek peace and pursue it. And for that, that is my take on that.